Hey guys, welcome to the review show. My name's Austin, and 2023 is already over. Holy fucking shit. This year went fast. Like, honestly, a lot of stuff happened. Like, great things and terrible things. Like, seeing a lot of terrible movies, which I can't wait to do my top 10 worst movies I've seen of 2023. Oh, you guys always love to see me suffer, don't you? That's the only reason why you guys watch these. No one's probably watching this one. They're probably waiting for the worst video to watch. But yeah, this has been an awesome year. We've hit so many different milestones. This is the 5th year anniversary for the channel. 5 years of doing this. That's insane. With that being said, thank you guys so much for all the support that you guys have been giving. Nothing really more says that I want to do this is than seeing that you guys enjoy seeing me do this. That's just really awesome that you guys watch the videos. And of the top 10 best movies I've seen of 2023, these are not going to be movie reviews or anything on those lines. I do have movie reviews if you guys want to go check those out. But there's been so many freaking movies, I can't really narrow it down to just 10. That I have some, these leftover films that are really good that they just unfortunately could not make the top 10. So I'm going to mention some of those as an honorable mention type of deal before we get into the actual goodness and top 10 films. Starting with Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is a film that I didn't even think was going to be that good, and because the marketing for that movie sucked, and I came out wanting to see it again and again. And every time I went and saw it, I always brought someone new to be like, hey, this movie's actually good. I'm going to take you because I know that you think the movie's not that very good because from the looks of the trailer, but I'm going to take you. Trust me, all right? And mostly every single person came out like, yeah, that was pretty good. Sisu, a great action movie. This movie was a lot of fun to watch in theaters. This is probably one of the most violent-ass movies I've seen of all year, besides maybe of John Wick. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is such a feel-good movie that I just have to mention. Everyone gives a great performance in this movie. It tells a great story from a young girl's perspective, dealing with being part of a religious family of two different groups, like Christians and Jewism, and it does a great job at handling both of those and telling a story of not every family's perfect, every family has their problems, and there's a lot of stuff that go behind the scenes, and it's just overall that film just did a great job. Godzilla -1, you know that this movie has to be on this list. A Godzilla movie actually being fucking good. I haven't seen any any of the Godzilla, the Japanese Godzilla films. That I never really got into subtitles, and this is the first subtitle film I've seen, especially in theaters, and reviewed and talked about it, and they did a great job just pacing it very well and made Godzilla feel scary and not like a fucking cartoon character. They brought that scariness back to Godzilla. My last honorable mention, this film might actually piss a lot of people off that it's not going to be on my top 10 list. I unfortunately did not like this film as much as others, but I still enjoyed it. Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is a great movie. I really liked Oppenheimer a lot, but the issues I had with it is that it dragged some bits. I don't think it needed to be 3 hours, and there were some bits that was kind of hard to follow. But overall, I really liked this film from a technical standpoint. The acting was great. Freaking Robert Downey Jr. gave out a standing performance. He could have easily just been there for a paycheck and left, but he gave it his all. Cillian Murphy did great as Oppenheimer himself. Holy crap. He gave out a great performance. And, Christopher Nolan, being the director and the writer, he did a great job. Not even doing any CGI in the film. Everything was practical. Alright guys, let's get into the top 10 movies of 2023, starting out with
number 10.
The Ironclaw. Holy crap, this movie was fucking fantastic. Wrestling isn't my thing. I know people that are into wrestling, but this movie, you can enjoy this movie without, knowing the sport or anything, or being interested in the sport. This is all about, Vaughn brothers are such a tragic thing that happened. It's just you can relate to it in so many different ways, and you can connect to these characters, and great performances from everyone like Jeremy. And Zac Efron himself, like the main lead in the film, he put himself through a lot of work, and kind of looks very unhealthy the way that he put his body in shape.
Number 9.
Skimmer at number 9, the only horror film actually on this top 10 list, because it's the only horror film that did anything actually fucking good this year. There's still other ones to mention that did good, but Skimmer was the only one that actually made me feel like, oh shit, like what the fuck is going on? Like what the fuck is this? And it's a very simple movie, a very simple independent film that just, it's literally just you, like it's you in your own mind. You're listening to the characters speak. No, not really any acting. It's more voiceovers type of style, and you're very invested into what's going on.
Number 8.
Holdovers at number 8. This is a film that made me fucking laugh. This is one of my favorite comedy films of the year, to be honest. Like this is, and it just reminds me a lot of like the old films that we used to get, like Breakfast Club. This movie reminded me a lot of that, and it was just a nice movie to, just get away from the big action films, the big comic book films, and just, sit back and enjoy and get invested into these normal characters and watch them just live out their normal daily lives.
Number 7.
John Wick Chapter 4, a movie, like, Keanu Reeves fucking being a badass, fuck yeah. Like this, 10 years of John Wick, like Jesus, like this is just a movie that is a nice way to close the chapter on this series. I know there's a talks of Chapter 5, it might have been confirmed. I hope not, because this is just a nice finale for any character. John Wick went on a journey to get revenge for his dog, and to turn into something better, and so he fought his way out of it. It's just a nice way to end the character, and it'd be very awkward the way if they try to bring it back. And so, yeah, John Wick Chapter 4, or a great film.
Number 6.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is just a nice way to close the chapter for James Gunn, and set him off on his way to the DCU, create something more, and it's also a closing chapter for the actors, the characters themselves. Chris Pratt might return later on in the future, but this movie is just like a personal story, and you live and see it through these characters, and it's like the dark themes in this movie is really hits hard, and I believe that this movie got an award for animal protection or something on those lines, and a lot of people connected with this film. This is a heavy animal lover type of film.
Number 5.
Air's probably Matt Damon's one of his best performances. It's up there in top 10 for sure. It's very interesting that they made a movie about about a shoe. And you cared about everyone, and it's just you see that they did a very good job at showing behind the scenes of how hard works that people put themselves through, and how far they go to make sure that things get done, and they really show the behind the scenes of what really makes stuff happen, and they do a very good job at that. Ben Affleck did a good job at directing.
Number 4.
Number 4, Killers of the Flower Moon. This is just Scorsese being Scorsese. He is always great. I haven't seen a film where I'm like, man, that movie sucks. Very well done, very emotional, very long film, 3.5 hours. And he did a great job at making it not feel like it's 3.5 hours. A lot of people skipped out on this film because of that. And honestly, I think you guys missed out a lot by not seeing this movie in theaters.
Number 3.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is my top 3rd favorite movie of 2023. It's very rare to have a sequel and somehow really tops itself from the first one that is already great as it is. And they really elevate the character of Miles Morales in this movie. And you really feel for this character and the stuff that he is going to go through, and you get on his side, you see what he's trying to do, and it might fuck up everything. And so they did a great job with the characters. The animation was fucking fantastic.
Number 2.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, a film that didn't do great at the box office, but a film I fucking love. Last year I gave Top Gun Maverick my number 1 spot. and I was like, maybe Mission Impossible will do it. Maybe it will get that #1 spot. But you know, there's a lot of issues that this Mission Impossible film was had really felt that you can feel the length of the film. But you know, this is just a fun summer blockbuster film, and you know, with great action, great practical stunts and practical effects, and Tom Cruise acting like he's 15 and not giving the care in the world that he might die on one of these stunts, and just does what he loves and creates movies, even though he's a weird fucking guy and is part of a cult. And so, yeah, like, this movie was just tons of fun, and you know, it touches on things that could happen in our near future.
#1.
This is a movie that just always sticked with me. This is the movie that hit every note. It did everything right, and it's something that is such a serious matter in the world and such a serious subject that it's just like, holy shit! Like this is a very emotional film. And it always stayed in my #1 spot is Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom is a great movie that got a lot of backlash, but also got a lot of positivity out of it. And a lot of people kept on going and see it. And there's people that went and saw it multiple times, even though that's not a film that you would really want to watch multiple times. But it's so good, and it addresses the things and the problems with the world that's what made people want to go back and watch it, because of how a serious matter it is, and how true, and it's based off a true story and true events. They just did a great job, and they knocked it out of the park. This movie might not have like the greatest acting in the world. Like, the acting is pretty good in the film, but it's not Oscar-worthy acting. But it's down to the core when it comes to the writing in this film that really hits, and what really makes what sticks with me. And that final moments in the movie where, like, you know, everything just by the end came together and made it like worth it. And that was my top 10 best list, and that was my top 10, technically 15-ish best movies of 2023. If you guys want, let me know your thoughts on this list, and let me know what your guys' thoughts, what's your guys' top 10, 15, how many movies, or easily like your favorite movie of 2023. Let's have a fun conversation down below. Like always, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the support that you guys give, and be ready for my top 10 worst list. And there might have been a lot of great films, but there were a lot of bad films, and there might be a worst honorable mention list too for that video. So stick around for that. Thank you guys for watching. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.